So that's my individual final projects. That's my presentation. And my name is Fernando dos Santos, and I will present it right now. The first part that I want to talk about is the static classes versus non-static classes. Static classes cannot be instantiated. So I cannot have a variable for it. I cannot have an object for it. Not a variable, not an object, just the class. So the class that I use to call the attributes and the methods. So as I don't have an object, I use the class to call them. In fact, there's just one object of the class object. So the class object that will call all of the attributes, they will change all of the attributes, and because of this, there's just one instantiation or one variable in the entire system of the static class. So here in this example, in the code, I have the game control class that is a static class in my game, and it calls the display map method. The display map method is a static method of the class the static class game control. And game control is with capital, so because of this is the class and not an option, not an object. So because of this, the class is calling the method. So because of this is the static class. And if I call display map in one part of the code, one part of the system, and in the other part of the system, that will be the same because it's the same variable, just the class. Now I want to talk some differences about array, an array list, and a num. Well, all of them are lists. So if I have a collection, if I have a list, I can use one of them. So I have different characteristics in each one of them to use it. So I can choose depending on the characteristic of my list. So for example, the array is a list of variable of the same type. So the entire list of this array that has the same type of variable, and it has the size or the length the same constant in all of the system. So I cannot change the size of an array variable. So if I have a variable, the type is array, like I have here of example, the location, I will instantiate it. I will have a variable for it, and I will have a size of each dimension of it. So if I have a size of it, I cannot change it. If I want to change it for larger or shorter, I will have to copy all the array to the other array with the other size. And now the second one is the array list. The array list is a little different of the array because the time is varies. The size varies, or the, how can I say, the length varies. So if I want to add more elements on this, I can add forever, and I will have an extra element, an extra space to an array list. So the size varies. So if in my list the size varies too much, so I use the array list. It's a there are variables too, and they are in the same type like the array. And now I have the num. The enum, it's a kind of different than the array and the array list, because this list, there are not variables but constant. So if I have, for example, the states of a country that it doesn't change very much, almost never. So in this day, so I can use an enum for it because it's a list of constant. And unfortunately, I don't have an example in my game of an enum. Now, how can I access an array? So as I see here, I have the location array, and it's a two-dimensional array. So as it is a two-dimensional array, I need two force to access it, or to access all the elements of this array. So I have here in this code two fors, one with the I variable and the other one with J variable. And we have here below else, we have get map and get location. So in this get location Y and J, I put the coordinates, or the parts of the variable to access it. So we have two dimensions. So I have Y and J here, and I get the location of the map in this array with this method here. Now I want to talk a little bit about exceptions. In my case, in my individual assignment, I had to put exceptions in the method fit people. So because of this, I have this example here. So fit people here, in the signature of the method, I threw a crop exception, because in the line below the if statement, I threw a new crop exception with this string here. The number of bushes needs to be in the web and the store. So I have this string. So if someone calls it and threw a new crop exception, this message will go to the user. Let's see how it goes. So in this method, feed people view, we have a try catch here, and I try to execute the method feed people. As feed people can or no or not show throws an exception. So it must have a try catch, or in the signature of the method has to throw the same exception of the method that it's called and throw an exception to. So in this case, we don't have a through in this signature, so I have the other option to put in try catch. So in try catch, we try to execute the method, and if it's not succeed, or if throws an exception, it goes to catch, or I mean, it catches the exception, the crop exceptions in this case. So if throws if it throws an exception, and it catches it in the catch part of the code, and then it print to the user, I am sorry, master, but, and in the other line, we'll get the message that we have here in throws, the number of bushes, and it throws here. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the file, and I have this method of the game that I have, and the name is save game. And the save game, it's a try catch too. So it tries to create a new file output stream with a file path, and the method receive a file path, and then it creates a FIPS that it's a file output stream. The file output stream is necessary to create the object output stream in the line below. And this object output stream can write the object, or I mean the object, the name that the name is city of Aaron dot get game. So I return here an object, or I mean all the game, all the variable that the name is game, um, and it is right in the output file. So it creates a file and it write this object, or the game object, in this file and save with the name that is in the file path. So in the file path we have the name and all of the path of the file. So now I want to show the game like executing. So I have here a menu of the game menu of the city of Aaron. So I want to start a new game. So it asks me to type my first name. So my first name is Fernando. And now I have the game menu that I can view the map. I can move to a new location. For example, in the 4, I can manage crops. That is the rounds of the game. So I want to choose the manage crops. So the crops that I want to buy. So I want to buy like 10, and I want to sell 2. And I want to give grain to people like 100, and the acres that I want to plant, so I want to plant like 30. So here we finished the round. So we have a report here, and I can do whatever I want. I want to return it in the 5-1, and I can save my game and quit with 5. So it's successful save, and I can quit. So I can get out of my. So that's my presentation, and I hope you enjoy it. And it's the end.